right? So in case of I, um, look, always get, this is the question being asked, that we always get confused with the back and forward slashes for URLs. Look, if you are having a website, okay, you write like this, you keep this slash. But if you are keeping a path in Java program, it's a good practice to write like this in case of directories. Okay, it's a good practice. That's how we do it, right? In case of URLs, you can keep like this. Okay. So in case of iDriver, you go to the download section again. The Internet Explorer drivers server you will get over here for 32-bit I and 64-bit I. In case of I, you can open up I, right? And mine is a 64-bit I, right? So you can download this iDriver zip file. Okay, and hold on, I'll download it and keep it in drivers. I think I have 64-bit only. Hold on, I will extract it over here because I updated my I as well. Okay, so again you need to write over here system.setProperty WebDriver.I.driver. Okay, you have to give the same command in case of I, and you need to give the path of a iDriver server exe file. Okay, make sure you give the correct path and the spelling, uppercase, lowercase, right? And when you run this program, you will see that a blank I opens up. Now many times people might get issues or errors while opening I. Okay, it's written that this is the initial start page for WebDriver. Okay, look, the thing is, the first thing is that in I, make sure that your zoom level is set to 100%. This is the first requirement, that in case of I, the zoom level is 100%. If it is less or more than that, you will get the error. Then still if I doesn't open, then you check the protected mode settings in I. Okay, you go over here and you go to tools, options, internet options, and go to security. There are four, you can say there are four sections over here. For all the four sections, make sure that this leveler, this is the leveler, right? Right. It is at the same level. Okay. And this checkbox should be checked that enable the protected mode. It should be unchecked. You should turn off the protected mode in I. Okay. Turn off the protected mode in I for all the sections if it is not working, and make sure the leveler is at the same level. Okay, then it will start working. Okay, so this is what has to be done in case of I. Fine. So but nobody uses I these days. Even the customers, they have stopped using it, most of them, right? Fine. Now moving ahead. Okay, so these are the three important and three major drivers. Okay, if you talk about other important drivers, one of the most important drivers is remote WebDriver. This is used in case of Selenium GRID to actually run the test cases parallelly. Anybody asking something? I guess somebody is trying to ask something. Guys, please keep your mics on mute because we are recording this session and it creates a background noise. Otherwise, if you have a question, you can unmute and ask. Okay. So remote WebDriver is used in case of Selenium GRID. We will look into this. Okay. And the other drivers are not so stable. Okay. So yeah, now where you can ask your questions, you can let me know. Okay. If you are not able to talk, you can. No, in case of Firefox, you don't need to put any exe or something. Only in case of Chrome and IE. Okay, not in case of Firefox. Okay, right. Now the next question which comes up into the mind is that how do I use all these drivers together? Okay, fine. I told you that what are the concepts of OOPS, what are the basic drivers and all. Right. Now how do I use these drivers together? For example, I'll create a new class over here, Selenium Basics. Suppose you have a requirement that you have a variable string browser equals to I write over here Chrome. So whatever script I write should execute on Chrome. If tomorrow I change this variable name from Chrome to say I, then the script should run on I. I should not change my script. Okay, if I change from I to Firefox, it should run on Firefox. Okay, generally we will read this parameter from an external file like an Excel file or a properties file, anything, and the script will run. You don't have to change the script. So generally what people answer is that you can use if-else statement. If I try to use if-else statement, if I write over here, if the browser is equal to Firefox, then I write Firefox driver equals to new Firefox driver, else if the browser equals to Chrome, then you initiate the Chrome driver object like we did earlier. You need to write these two lines. Okay, similarly, else if the browser is I, fine, then you need to initiate the I driver. But this is not the correct thing. Now if I am initiating Firefox driver, then I have to use this FD object to go to the website, say gmail.com. If I am initiating this Chrome driver, then I'll have to use the Chrome driver object. If I'm initiating the I driver object, right, I'll have to use the I driver object to go to the website gmail.com. Now this is a headache. Will you write a separate code if you have to click on Firefox driver, then you write or if you have to type the username in the Gmail website, you will type the username over here, and in case of Firefox, in case of a Chrome, and in case of I, you are repeating the code for all the browsers. This is not what you required. You have a different driver for different browser. So for every driver you cannot just go and write a different kind of a script again and again. Okay, and it's a repetition only. So how do you do that? Okay, how do you solve this problem? This problem is solved with the help of interfaces. Okay, right, I will come over to interfaces. Just I have told you the problem, and the solution is with the help of interfaces. Right, I will talk about constructors now. Let me talk about constructors because this is an important concept, and then I will jump over to interfaces, and I'll also tell you how interfaces are used in Selenium and how you can work with interfaces. Right, and how do they solve the problem over here? That is, you just change one variable and the script executes on that particular variable. Okay, now what do you mean by a constructor? Okay, now let me go to the user class again, where I had created the objects of mobile phones M1, M2 and M3. Each object I had to initialize three properties: name, price and call. For M2 also I am initiating the name, then I am initiating, say, the price. Okay, so sorry, two properties you have to initiate, name and price. So if I am creating 10 objects of this mobile class, then for 10 objects I have to initiate two properties again and again. What if this mobile phone class, okay, had, it just has got two global non-static properties, right? What if it had around 5 or 6? Then for every object you will have to initiate all the 5, 6 properties again and again, and that's a headache. Okay, because you will create the object in one line and you will initiate the object again and again in next 2, 3, 4, 5 lines, whatever it is the case. So what we do is that we create the constructor of this class. Okay, let me make a new class known as user2, and I'll tell you what constructors are. In the mobile phone class, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to write like this: public mobile phone. The constructor of the class has got no return type. The name of this is the constructor. This is known as the default constructor. The name of a constructor of the class is same as the name of the class. It's got no return type. Okay. Inside it, if I write inside constructor, and in user2, if I create the object of mobile phone, I'm creating it without a reference. If I create the object of mobile phone and if I run it, then it prints inside constructor. The constructor of this class is called as many times as you create the object of the class. Automatically it will be called. If I am creating the object 3 times and if I run it, the constructor will be called 3 times. Okay, right. So what we do is that, okay, when we make a constructor like this, public mobile phone, in which you will send the name and the price of the mobile phone. So now in the user class, you can create an object of the mobile phone in which you can send the name of the mobile phone and the price. Okay, right, you can send the name, string name and int price, sorry. So whenever you create the object of the mobile phone, no matter how many objects you are creating, okay, say Sony, iPhone, okay. So every phone, every object, when it is created, it will send the name and the corresponding price inside the constructor. This constructor will be called. Inside it you can print name and the price. So when you run this user2, you will see that it will call the other constructor and it is printing the name and price in that constructor. Okay, right. And suppose I write over here, I'll put a reference m1 equals to this and m2 equals to this. I'll add a reference to these objects, m3 equals to this. So what will happen is that this constructor is getting called, these variables are being passed over inside this constructor, and inside the constructor I can write name equals to n and price equals to p. The global variables name and price for the objects I am equating to the local variables n and p. So automatically for this object m1, m2, m3, name and price will get initialized. If I print over here m1 dot name, m2 dot name and m3 dot name, so this will automatically print Nexus, Sony and iPhone. So this is the advantage of a constructor, that it creates the object and also initializes the object at the same time. You just have to pass over the right parameters inside the constructor. I can also create a constructor of this class which just takes the name, not the price. Okay, right. So when I'll create the object of that class, I'll just create it like this. Only the name is getting initialized for M4, not the price. This is a default constructor which accepts no arguments. Okay, it doesn't initialize anything. This is a overloaded constructor. This is the concept of overloading. The name is same, but the input parameters, they differ. Okay. Right. Now inside it, if I write over here as well name and price. So what I am doing is that these are my name and price are my local variables. Okay. And I write name equals to name, price equals to price. So what I am doing is I am trying to equate the global variable name. Okay. This is the global variable name to the local variable, global variable name to the local variable name. In this name the value is passed over. So what we do is that we write this dot at parameter over here, right, attribute. So what we do is that we write this operator over here, this dot. This dot name means the global variable name is equal to name, this is the local variable. So if I have to different, the name is same, okay, the price, this is also price, this is also price, the name is same, but the location is different. This is a global variable. In this the final value has to go. So we write this dot price. This dot price means the global price is equal to the local price. Okay. So if I run this again, it will give me the same output. So you use constructors a lot. If I look at the documentation, suppose if I go to the documentation of Firefox driver, okay, I click on this link and class Firefox driver, this is the constructor summary of Firefox driver. There are so many constructor summaries. Okay, one is having Firefox profile. I'll talk about Firefox profiling. One is this constructor with the capabilities object. This is used in case of grid. Okay, this one is used in case of grid. I'll talk about them, but every class will have some constructors as well. We use the default constructor while creating the object of Firefox driver. There are many other constructors as well. Okay, so we'll go into this, we will go more into this, but understand what a constructor is. It can help you initialize the object on the fly. Okay, right. So this is how I'm going to teach you. I'll teach you some concepts of core Java and then I'll tell you how that is applied in Selenium. Okay, it won't be that I'll complete core Java first and then I'll jump over to Selenium. No. Okay, right. So